Hello, everybody. It's been quite some time, so I'm just going to jump right into this because I know that there are a lot of vlog notes that I need to go over because I have been recording through this whole thing and I spent the time to watch all of these clips, which was about 400 minutes worth of stuff, and I need to tell you guys what happened. So February 8th, I had promised an art video that was going to come out next week and never got around to it. And I had, around this time, recently had an MRI, which was on January 12th, and I got that back on the 8th, and the impression said that everything was normal except a T2 hyperintense cystic lesions in the right and left parotid glands of the intermediate significance, which can be seen in Sjogren's syndrome or diagnostic polycystic disease of the salivary glands. And it ended up being neither of those. I ended up getting an autoimmune disease marker blood test, and they said that I do not have any autoimmune diseases. I was very frustrated that the things that were mentioned with my glands, the polycystic whatever, the T2 hyperintense cystic lesions, were never seen or caught in my last MRI, and that I was misdiagnosed with a brain tumor instead. I was very frustrated that they missed something and then misdiagnosed me. Secondly, this move, I was finally moving. I finally got confirmation that I was moving out of that apartment and that I was moving to the apartment across the street and that I was going to be an upstairs unit. The update during this time was that my landlord had contacted HUD, and I hadn't heard from them for about a week, so I contacted them to try and get things pushing along. They didn't even start the process. They didn't do anything until I called them, basically, so I was really glad that I called. So I ended up sharing my thoughts about whether or not I want to stay in Florida for another year, and I did decide to stay in Florida for another year because I didn't want to move twice within the same few months, especially with how frustrating and tiring moving to this apartment was. I didn't want to deal with HUD a second time. So I just decided that I would stay in Florida until 2025, but I'm considering staying until 2026 because, once again, the moving was so difficult and such a long process that I do not want to do it again, and I would just like to be here for a couple of years. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it. My main reason for it was that I wanted to focus more on my health before moving, because I didn't do that before moving to Oregon, and I ended up having to move back in with my parents, and I was like 78 pounds, and I was practically dying. So I want to focus on that stuff so that I can move to Minnesota and be healthy. So February 9th, I didn't get a call from HUD. I tried to schedule a doctor's appointment, and the nurse was really snarky with me. I had no updates regarding the move. I turned in my thesis essay, and I talked about how this was my first essay in about a decade, and I was really nervous, but I was trying to be easy on myself. I still had fleas. Everything was overwhelming. The move was going slow, and I was very frustrated about everything, because especially living under my upstairs neighbor at the time. A good update was I did get approved for more food stamps a month, which was awesome and is still awesome. And then I went on a rant about my upstairs neighbor and how I was worried that I didn't want to be the annoying upstairs neighbor. February 13th, I was stressed about everything that I needed to get done. I had gifts to make and art trades to make, and I needed to post the vlog. I was stressing about the vlog the whole time. This entire time I've been stressed out about the vlog. I was considering buying a walk pad because I just don't like pacing around my apartment, and I ended up getting one. I don't remember when. I think I mentioned at some point in here that I end up getting it, but you guys will see that I do end up getting one. And it honestly was such a great purchase because my neighborhood is so dangerous, and I hate pacing around my apartment, and this has just helped me be healthier. So I'm really glad I bought it. It was cheap. Like, it was, I think, $150. And considering, like, walk pads can be $400 plus, like, that was on the cheaper end. I was hoping to get back on a schedule and, like, planning to clean the apartment. Because everything was really trashed in February. Like, everything was a mess. Everything was just it was a complete disaster. Everything was so bad, and it being messy really did not help. I can't really function in messy apartments. And again, the fleas were not going away, and I was worried about bringing them to the new apartment. February 16th, I was still really overwhelmed. I was really behind in my classes. I had like 4 chapters worth of homework due that night and at midnight, and an essay discussion, and I just could not focus because my upstairs neighbor was being so loud. I went to bed really late. The fleas were still persistent. My landlord was being slow, and just everything was being slow. And I was frustrated because this was supposed to be an emergency move, and I just could not wrap my head around why things were taking so long to move forward when this was classified as an emergency move. There aren't dates for these next couple of things, so this is just kind of what happened like in the middle, I guess, between this month. My ceiling was leaking at one point, and I thought it was, a leak in the apartment, but it ended up being my upstairs neighbor and his washing machine flooding his apartment and it leaking down into my apartment. I got my apartment cleaned finally, and I worked on replacing all of my cabinets, like in the kitchen, with their old hardware. I went to a new OBGYN so that I could get a second opinion like my endocrinologist suggested, and he basically told me, I don't know why you're having menopausal symptoms, but you're too young for me to diagnose you. Despite you having all of the symptoms, try gaining weight and then come back to me. And I decided I will not be going back to him because I hate that. I hate anything like that. Like, I understand that my weight can play a role in my fertility health, but it's not that. I went to the eye doctors, and then I got a new prescription. March 15th, I went to the DMV and got my license renewed. March 18th, I apologize for it being so long since I vlogged or posted, not knowing it would be 3 months before I even edited this vlog. I've been overwhelmed and stressed out about everything, but I had to prioritize school with my energy in order to continue getting my loans, because those have been so helpful. I talked about how I've been having a really hard time with just in general, and how I love vlogging and I love seeing how far I've come on a day-to-day basis. So it's been really upsetting that I've not been able to vlog or post it, because I like being able to go back and watch my old videos. Still hadn't moved. I was hoping that the move would happen within a couple of weeks. Sometime during this point, my professor had accused me of using AI to write my thesis paper, and it went all the way to the board. We had to have a meeting about it with the education board. I forget what they're called, but it ended up being I ended up deemed as not guilty for using AI, and her reasons were so lame for why she thought that I was using AI. It was really pathetic, frankly. March 20th, I was 27. I felt sick all day, and I was really upset because I felt bad all day. I felt like I was coming down with something. Things have just been hitting back to back, and I just felt really beat down. The flea infestation was still, I think the flea infestation by this point had gone away, but I was still really anxious that it was just kind of not gone yet. I did find the source of the fleas. It was the blow-up mattress in my living room, so when I got rid of it, they went away. I was worried about losing my financial aid because my professor had accused me of using AI, and therefore she gave me an F on that paper, which brought me down to a 20% in that class, which brought me below a 2.5 GPA, which is what I need to have in order to continue receiving financial aid. HUD was saying that I'd be moving within the month. I was just very frustrated and really anxious and overwhelmed about everything. I didn't know what was going on. Everything was so frustrating, sorry. April 12th, I was still very stressed out. I still hadn't moved, but my landlord finally got back to me and said that I needed to contact the electric company and that I would be signing the lease on Monday. And then the maintenance guy that worked here said that he would help me move my heavier stuff, like my furniture and stuff that I couldn't carry by myself, because I was just going to move by myself since it was just across the street. And so I needed to text him and coordinate with him and let him know that I was going to be getting the keys on Monday. I was praising my earth-based science professor about how she was so lenient and sweet through this whole process, because she's been really understanding and she was so helpful. I would not have passed that semester without her. I was frustrated because I was trying to avoid overlapping my finals with moving, but that's exactly what happened. I took down my shelves. April 16th, I got the keys to the new apartment. I had a migraine all day. I cleaned the whole new apartment. And the apartment was a lot smaller. I was stressed out. I was exhausted. I was overwhelmed. I was behind on tests. Planning to be moved in by Thursday, April 17th. I got a lot of stuff out of the old apartment, and I got a lot of my necessities out of the old apartment. I almost had a heat stroke on the 17th. 18th, I stayed the night for the first time at that new unit. I moved almost everything over to the new apartment, but there were so many problems with the new apartment. Like, the faucet was leaking. There was weird watery noises coming from downstairs. The water heater stopped working twice. I didn't have hot water for like a week. April 24th, I hung up the curtains in the living room and the kitchen. I had a really long day, and I did my final essay and my extra credit for English. And I woke up from a text from the maintenance guy saying that he, could come and fix my stuff. I finished my revision. I finished everything, all of my finals, my essays, and all of that. And I ended up getting a B on my final essay for English, which was such a relief because I had done so bad in English initially. April 30th, I cleaned the new apartment. No, actually, I cleaned the old apartment. I got everything else over here. I got all the trash out. I got everything put together and fixed. And when I got home, though, on the 30th, I got home after cleaning the old apartment completely top to bottom. I get home, take a shower, and then I realize that my Wi-Fi's out, and the Wi-Fi people are like, yeah, your router's broken. You need to come in and get a new one. So I had to go in and get a new one and then come home and take another shower. May 2nd, I was taking my Earth Space final on Saturday or Sunday, and I was studying for it. I will just tell you guys that in the next vlog. Friday, May 17th, I fully unpacked everything, and I gave you an apartment tour, but I'm probably just going to, put that in a separate vlog or, post it privately because, y'all don't need to see that. And then, yeah, everything has been just, really wild. Everything has been nuts, but I am finally moved into this unit. Everything is pretty chilled out now. And, well, for the most part, I was going to take the summer off because this whole first half of the year has been so long and so overwhelming. But I decided to take a couple easy summer term classes so that I could, continue getting the loans through the summer because I burned through most of my loans for my first semester because of this move. I had to replace so much stuff because of that flea infestation. I had to replace most of my furniture because a lot of my furniture was the fabric drawers and the fleas embedded in that stuff. And I had to get a new desk chair. I had to get pretty much new everything. And I plan to give you guys an apartment tour here in this next vlog that's coming. I'm hoping next week. I'm hoping I can start getting back to my bi-weekly posts because I do like posting twice a week and I want to get back into the swing of posting vlogs. And it's significantly less overwhelming to edit a vlog that has 30 minutes of video to edit instead of 400 something minutes. There was so much stuff in this vlog. So much has been cut out. And because I wouldn't even watch this vlog. I considered just editing it how I normally would edit a vlog. I wouldn't even rewatch this. And that's the whole point of these vlogs is that I rewatch them. I go back and I look at them and I see how far I've come. But I do have life updates and updates in general, and I plan to tell you guys those updates in this upcoming vlog, which I'm hoping will be out sometime in the middle of this week, maybe on Wednesday. And yeah, I thank you guys so much for being so patient with me. Things have just been so crazy, and I'm hoping that we can get back in the swing of things now that things have kind of mellowed out. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you again for being patient, and yeah, I will see you guys very soon with some updates. Thank you so